The art of soothing tyrants. The day had started like usual, and it began as such things often did, with screaming. Not just any screaming, Caracalla's screaming, a unique blend of furious Latin curses and the unmistakable crash of a shattered wall. The Senator Hall fell into a stunned silence. Wine bled across the marble like blood from a slit throat. Gedda sighed with the weariness of a man twice his age, and he gestured wordlessly to the guards. Later, when the guests had been dismissed with hollow apologies and a promise of restored dignity, Gedda turned to you. "He listens to you," he stated. "God knows why. Go calm my brother before he burns the palace down." You found Caracalla in his chamber, pacing like a caged animal. Even now his jaw twitched and his fists clenched and unclenching, as if contemplating violence. He lingered at the threshold, letting the silence settle before stepping in. "My emperor," you greeted. He was mid-stride. "Not now." His voice was ragged with restraint. You raised an eyebrow and shut the door behind you. Gedda sent his deepest sympathies for the inconvenience of being mildly disagreed with by a senator. He turned slowly, eyes narrowing. "They mocked me." "They disagreed with you." You stepped closer, the train of your robe whispering against the cold stone. "Which is not the same, my emperor." Caracalla's glare softened by the degree. He said Rome should not extend citizenship to provincials, that the purity of my Roman blood must be preserved. He insulted my vision. You tilted your head. He insulted your policy. Not you, but you took it personally, as always. "Because everything is personal," he snapped, gesturing wildly. "I am the emperor." You sighed, closing the space between you. "Then you must be worthy of it." He flinched just barely, but enough. Caracalla was many things. He was a soldier, a tyrant, a god in his own mind, but he always had loud honesty from you. Brutal honesty wrapped in soft silk of your presence. Maybe that's why Gedda sent you, again and again and again. Not because you pandered to Caracalla, because that's what you never did. "I don't want to be calmed," he said after a moment. "I want to crush him. I want to ride to the Cruza and tomorrow and cut his tongue out." "Do it," he said. "See if it makes the voices in your head quiet down." He scowled. "Don't mock me." "I'm not." He reached out, fingers brushing against his tense arm. "You're not mad. You're furious. There's a difference, and I know what it is you really want." His mouth opened, but no words seemed to come out. "You want someone to tell you you're right. You want someone to look you in your eye and say, 'Yes, Emperor, you are brilliant, and these fools don't see your divine vision.'" He didn't deny it. You leaned in, lowering your voice. "But I can't give you that, because you don't need flattery. You need something honest." He stared at you, eyes flickering to your lips, then your gaze. "What do you think I need?" he murmured. You slipped behind him, hands sliding out over his shoulders, gentle but firm. "You need to be touched like a man, not treated like a god. You need to be reminded that no matter how many titles you chant, your skin is warm and your heart is breakable and your rage is not immortal." He exhaled slowly, shaking. Your fingers worked into the knots of his back, not seduction, comfort, intimacy without performance. "You're so tightly wound, you forget your own body exists," you said. all crown and sword and pride. His head jerked slightly. They mock me in whispers. Even when they bow, I see it in their eyes. They fear you, you corrected, tone even. Fear invites resentment, but power is a bitter wine. Drink too much, and it's sour on the tongue. He twisted suddenly, grasping your wrist, not harshly, but enough to make it feel like he was angering himself. You make me feel like I'm not a beast, he complained. You aren't, you said softly. You're a man with too much fire in your blood and a few people willing to hold it with bare hands. He looked at you like the world had tilted. Then why do you? You paused. Because I've seen what's left when the fire dies, and I'd rather tame it than see it snuffed out. He stepped closer to you, chest nearly to yours. I don't deserve you. No, you replied with a small smile. But emperors rarely get what they deserve. They only take what they want. His eyes darkened, not with fury, but with something else, a deep aching need. You ground me, my dear, even when I want to fly into the sun. You reached up, cupping straw with steady fingers. Then come down, just for tonight. No gods, no empire, just you and me. He leaned in with the touch, with the fragility of a man used to gentleness. Stay with me. I always do, he said, voice like warm oil. Not because you command it, but because you need me. And for once he didn't argue. You led him to the bed, not like a servant leading a king, but like a friend leading a wounded soldier to rest. He laid back, letting you climb beside him, your hand against his chest, and his breath slowed. The storm in his eyes dulled but not extinguished, but the blanket was calming him for now. In the morning, this night would gossip again, and the quarters would whisper and Geta would sigh. But tonight the tyrant would sleep with your hand over his heart, and the fire kept at bay by the only person who was brave enough to hold it. Morning soon arrived, with the sun thick over the golden room. But inside the emperor's chamber, silence lingered. Caracalla's hadn't stirred yet. His arm was still thrown over your waist, and his breath was warm where it hit your neck in an uneven rhythm. He was not a peaceful sleeper. The weight of his titles chased him, even in his dreams. You watched him quietly, not with awe, but with the kind of watchfulness, one that was reserved for wild animals and damaged men. The fire within him was so hot you tried not to burn yourself. You tamed it last night, but it was never truly out. That fire never truly got snuffed. When he blinked himself awake, it was not with the sharp snap of a ruler rising for war, but a slow, reluctant breath of a man who knew what waited beyond his doors. They'll talk, he murmured. They always do, you said, voice dry. Let them. He didn't move. Geta will get smug, you chuckled. Geta is always smug. That earned a snort. You are very free with your tongue, considering your place. I know my place, you replied. My place is right here, where nobody else can stand. He watched you. Something unreadable flickered in his gaze. Something softness or maybe suspicion, you weren't really sure. Come with me, he said. You blinked, a little bit caught off guard. Where? His hand brushed your waist and dropped. Let them see who I keep beside me when I rule. Let them guess what you mean to me. You raised an eyebrow. You wish to parade around through a nest of centaurs who already whisper you're unfit. I want you where I can see you, he said simply. You hesitated. That will only provoke them further. Caracalla sat up slowly, drawing his tunic. Good. Hours later, the place buzzed with tension. Senators lined through the marble hall, eyes narrowed as the emperor entered, crowned in crimson and gold and glinting at his throat. But what true silence was you? Just a step behind. Not cloaked like a servant, not bowed like a courtier, equal in stride, equal in presence, equal in purpose. Gas fluttered like wings. One of the older senators, Cassin, thought you... He cleared his throat. Your Majesty, may we inquire about the presence of... He looked at you, trying to guess. Your companion? Caracalla's voice was calm but cold. You may inquire, but you'll get no answer. Murmurs erupted. You stood still, not cocky, not coward, just simply there, a reminder that Caracalla was no longer a boy throwing his tantrums alone. He had brought his firekeepers to the court. Cassette tried again. Rome has long depended on a certain decorum, Your Majesty. And Rome has long depended on strength, but I don't need your approval to surround myself with those who understand me. Is that what this is? He asked. Understanding. He smiled thin and sharp. Better than fear disguised as loyalty. The senator's lips purred. We serve the Republic. The Republic is dead, Caracalla said, tone like a sword unsheathed. It died the minute you forgot how to listen. It was there, that old flame in his voice. You shifted steadily behind him, close enough for him to feel your presence. He didn't look back, but his shoulders eased. He stayed the entire session, silent, a ghost at his elbow. He watched as he baited them, challenged them, make threats that were half true, half performance. He was clever. He was cleverer than they gave him credit for, at least. Mad, perhaps, but not stupid. You realized something else as he stood there. He wasn't just performing for them. He was performing for you. Every barred comment, every cutting line, it was all part of a silent question. Do you believe me now? And every time you didn't flinch, every time your gaze stayed steady, he found his answer in you. Of course you believed him. You always did.